If you want to receive more useful videos about relationship psychology, subscribe now and click the bell. What if I told you that one seemingly harmless habit imperceptibly drains your energy, undermines your self-confidence, and keeps you in a vicious circle, preventing you from moving forward? Perhaps you feel tired, lack of motivation, and inner emptiness, as if you are stuck in life, not knowing how to get out. But what if the key to true self-control is inner strength and authentic masculinity? I've been right in front of your eyes all this time. Stay with me. After hearing this, you will never remember this habit again. Earlier, it was about a topic that most people prefer to avoid. They gloss over it, devalue it, or conversely, justify it, calling it normal, even useful. But have you ever wondered if this is really so? Or is it self-deception that costs you much more than you are willing to admit, if this innocent habit actually deprives you of vital functions? The energy that suppresses your will and prevents you from reaching your true potential. The ancient Stoics, the greatest thinkers of all time, realized long ago what modern society prefers to ignore. They knew the value of discipline, the power of reason over passion, and the secrets of true freedom. Today, I will share with you the knowledge that will help you step out of the shadows, regain control of your own life, and begin the path to strength, clarity, and true inner freedom. Why is this habit destroying you? Let's be honest. You've already experienced this heavy sense of guilt and loss of motivation immediately after you succumb to the impulse. An emotional void arises, as if something inside you has flowed away, leaving only disappointment. But science explains why this happens today. Every time you resort to this, as a result of habit, your brain receives a powerful release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter responsible for feeling pleasure. At first glance, it seems harmless, but that's exactly where the danger lies. The more often you do this, the more your brain gets used to the easy, quick pleasure. Over time, it begins to demand more and more, and your inner satisfaction, on the contrary, decreases as the side effects of any addiction become more and more obvious. You feel a decline in strength, a weakening of the will, a loss of motivation, and aspirations for great genuine goals disappear, because the brain has already received its reward without waiting for real achievement. This deceptive sense of accomplishment without labor, without effort, without growth, is what ancient historians talked about long before the advent of neuroscience. They warned, excess. This is a path to destruction, and a person who is at the mercy of his desire loses control of himself. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they all said the same thing. True freedom does not come when you follow every impulse, but when you control yourself. So what exactly did they know, and how can you use their ancient wisdom to free yourself, restore energy, and regain control of your own life? Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "No man is free if he is a slave to his body." This happens when you let pleasure control you. Every time you give in to this habit, you strengthen the mindset of a weak person, as if you are saying to yourself, "I need this," when in fact, you already have it. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher and emperor of Rome, believed that a person should control his desires, not obey them. Imprisoned, he understood that those who are unable to control themselves will never achieve true freedom. The more often you seek easy pleasures, the deeper you become addicted to it, and the more often you chase instant gratification, the further you move away from true inner satisfaction. But here's what's important to understand. All the great people in history, from warriors and rulers to visionaries and thinkers, had something in common. They were able to control their desires. They did not allow fleeting impulses to dictate their behavior. That's why they rebelled, while the rest remained slaves to their own weaknesses. How to break free and regain your strength. How to get out of this vicious circle. How to regain control of yourself and get rid of the habit that is slowly but surely dragging you down. The answer is hidden in 3. According to the fundamental principles of the Stoics, self-discipline is a shield that protects you from the chaos of internal impulses. It is a compass that leads you forward to a meaningful and great life. Transmutation is the art of turning the energy of desire into the energy of creation, growth, and strength. Having mastered these principles, you will no longer be a victim. You will become the master of your life. And this is only the beginning of the first self-discipline, the key to freedom. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoics, once said, "No one can be truly free unless they are the master of themselves." That's where the real transformation begins. The moment you decide to no longer be a slave to your. Important to understand that self-discipline is not giving up the joy of life. It is not suppression. It is not asceticism for the sake of suffering. It is the art of choosing the valuable instead of the easy, the long-term instead of the fleeting. Every time you resist an impulse, you do not just give up. You train your mind. You hone your willpower like a sword on fire. You become hardened. You become deeper, stronger, more aware. And with each such choice, your former dependence loses its power over you. Self-discipline. This is not a limitation. This is the road to true freedom. Second, find your goal and replace the habit with something greater. The Stoics argued, life without purpose, this existence without direction, without an inner compass, makes a person vulnerable to temptation, wanders into a chaos of impulses, and loses a sense of meaning. This is the reason why so many men suffer from destructive habits, not because they are weak, but because their energy is not directed, it is not focused, it is not called to something more. Think when your mind is busy creating a cause. By developing skills, striving for power, wisdom, or a meaningful mission, do you still have space for empty pleasures? The key is not just to give up a bad habit. The key is to replace the instant. Let every morning begin with the question of what will bring me closer to my goal today. When the goal becomes clear, life changes and temptations no longer seem sweet because you have tasted something more, a meaningful life. And the third is transmutation, energy redirection. Ancient warriors, artists, and philosophers possessed knowledge that most modern men have lost. They understood sexual energy, one of the most powerful forces inside a man, and if it is spent without purpose, not only energy is lost uncontrollably, and potential is lost, but if this force is consciously directed to creation, development, and achievement, it turns into a driving force of greatness, an inner fire that does not destroy but ignites the path. Nikola Tesla, one of the most brilliant minds of mankind, remained chaste throughout his life. Out of shame, not out of fear, but because he knew this energy was fuel for something more. He transformed it into intelligence, inventing ideas that were ahead of their time. And this particular practice in various forms, historians preached. They did not deny bodily desires. They directed them, instead of allowing energy to flow into fleeting pleasure. They used it to nourish discipline, will, wisdom, and creativity. You can also do this not by suppressing yourself, but by rising above yourself, and then you will feel a real power being born from within, a power that does not depend on circumstances, a power that belongs only to imagine what happens to you when you let go of this habit. You wake up every morning with inner clarity and unshakable confidence, without guilt, without weakness. Pure, focused energy moving forward. You feel motivation returning, as focus sharpens as you become the master of your life again. This is what happens when you break free. Your testosterone levels rise. Your mind clears, the desire to achieve, build, win skyrockets. But most importantly, you regain control over your own mind. This is the true freedom that the Racks talked about. This is not just the abandonment of a habit. It is the birth of a new person, who you have always been called to be. Now you face one simple but crucial question. Whether you stay in this cycle or take control into your own hands, whether you allow fleeting pleasure to steal your potential or rise above it and become stronger, the choice is yours. But remember, no great man in history was guided by his desires. Everyone who changed the world began by gaining power over themselves. If you are ready to break out to awaken, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Here you will find more materials that will help you become stronger, wiser, and more free. Thanks for watching.